Today, we're gonna talk about reasons why nobody likes the base trim Outback. Now, I understand that these same reasons that I'm getting ready to share with you why people don't like the base trim or why I see customers not go with the base trim are probably also the same reasons why people do go for the base trim. So there's a small percentage of people, so about 3% of our sales are the base trim Outback, not very many. And today we're gonna outline why that is. Talk about the difference in pricing, talk about the difference in value there from different features and equipment when we compare the base to the trim level just above it called the premium trim. So first up on today's list, we're gonna talk about just a visual exterior difference. So here is the premium trim level. This is one trim level above the base. We're gonna take a quick look at it, and then we're gonna walk over to the base trim, and I'm gonna see if you can tell the difference between the two. Now on the outside, so the same size vehicle, same powertrain, same almost everything on the outside except for one key difference. So here's a look at the same exterior color in the base trim Outback. Can you tell a difference? It might be hard to tell on camera, but anyways, I'll tell you, it's the windows. So this has no tinted windows. You can get tinted windows on the base trim, but it's not standard. So you can see completely through the glass. And a lot of people want, whether it's for privacy or up front to block the sun so you're not getting sunburnt while you're driving, a lot of people want the window tinting as a standard. And it comes on the Outback, it's come on the Outback as a standard except for your front windows and your windshield. It's come as a standard. So here's another Outback. This is a higher trim, but just to give you an idea, you've got the window tint where you can't hardly see inside the back of the car. So that is one key difference. Now, obviously, you can get a base trim and probably spend a few $100s and get the whole car tinted, but that is one key difference right there. And as we go through these things, we're gonna look at some differences and it really starts to add up. Next up, whenever you approach the car, whenever you approach a base trim, you go pull on the handle, you're gonna notice it's not unlocking on its own like we see with the cars with keyless entry. So you actually have to get your key out and unlock the car. Now, I know for some people, this is probably something silly to be upset about, but it's something we've gotten used to. You actually have to take your key out and put it in the ignition. Now, again, some people like that, but a lot of people, the majority of people nowadays, want that keyless entry, the convenience of the keyless entry with push button start so they can lock and unlock their door without having to get their key out. And they can start it without having to get their key out. As a point of comparison, let's walk up to this Outback Premium, pull on the door handle, it unlocks automatically for us. We can start it up. Don't even have to get the key out, it's in my pocket, just like that, very easy. And then whenever you get out of the car, all you have to do is close it and click the little grooves on the door and the car locks for you. Again, without ever having to get your key out of your pocket. Another benefit with the Subarus now that have the keyless entry, you have the ability to get remote start from your phone. If you have the base trim without the keyless entry and push button start, you don't have the ability to do remote start from your phone. So that's one other disadvantage of the base trim. If you like some adjustability with your seat and you don't want to have to use these levers to crank the seat up or down, adjust right here and use a metal bar to move it forward and back, kind of hard to do when you're standing on the side. It is much easier while you're sitting. Or you want lumbar support. So this doesn't have lumbar support. There's no way to adjust the center of your seat back. You're not gonna be able to do it on the base trim. Again, another point against the base trim and why people go with the premium just above it, because you have the option to get the power adjustable seat and the lumbar support. This next feature that unfortunately is not available on the base trim is one that I didn't think that I would care that much about, but having now had it, I don't think I can go without it. And that is going to be the power rear gate. So you don't have the option to get the power rear gate on the base trim for the Subaru Outback, which can be a disadvantage for those who struggle with lifting to pull this down or to open it up. With the Outback, if it has the optional package 13 or above, it'll have the power rear gate. You click and hold this button here to open or close it. And not only that, but if your hands are full and you walk up to your Subaru, if you just hover your arm right next to the Subaru logo, you'll hear a beep and your power rear gate will open for you automatically. So that's something that's incredibly convenient and unique to only the Subaru Outback. And sadly, it does appear that this rear sensor on the logo is not going to be in the 26 Outback. So of course we'll have a power rear gate for the 2026 Outback, but it doesn't look like we're gonna have that hands-free option to just simply hold our hand there to open the rear gate. Subaru is well known for having among one of the safest vehicles on the road today, and a lot of people are familiar with Subaru's eyesight system. If you're not, I'll give you kind of a brief overview on it, but these two cameras up front look for vehicles out ahead. So if you are driving along and somebody suddenly locks up their brakes in front of you, the car will try to slow down and avoid a collision. It's also really helpful if you like using cruise control, because this has the ability for adaptive cruise control, meaning that you can set your cruise control speed, and as a car in front of you starts slowing down, your car will automatically adjust speed when that adaptive cruise is set. So that's something that's standard and actually has been standard on the Subaru Outback for quite a few years now. But the unfortunate thing is that a lot of people assume that, okay, they see the eyesight standard, that's one of the main safety systems on the car. They also assume that the car has blind spot detection on the inside of the mirrors, because after all, Subarus are among one of the safest cars. Wouldn't they have those standard? Well, at least as it is right now for the 2025 model, that is not standard on the entry-level trim level. To get the blind spot detection, we have to move up to the premium with the optional 13 package. That's what's going to give you those blind spot lights on either side of the mirrors to give you an indication on whether or not somebody is behind you on the left or the right side of your vehicle. The base trim also doesn't get the nice 11.6-inch touchscreen display. Now again, some people might prefer the smaller screens, but if you want the large screen, you got to move up in trim level. This is what it looks like with the base trim. If you want to be able to utilize your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it's going to be up here in the top screen, and it's not wireless. You have to plug your phone in with the USB charging cable to be able to activate it up here. And then down below, you've got the remaining of your car controls, like your climate controls and your safety settings. Whereas with your premium trim, you have not only the larger display for your Apple CarPlay and your Android Auto, so if you have your maps displayed, you've got a nice large image, but it's connected wirelessly. As you can see, my phone is not connected anywhere down below here with the charging cables. And whenever I hop in the car, a few seconds later, my Apple CarPlay logo pops up. I can click on that and have access to my nav, my Spotify, phone call, text, things like that, all hands-free without having to plug anything up each day that I hop in the car. Additionally, it's worth noting that all but the base trim have not only USB-A, but USB-C for your lightning cables. You also have additional charging ports for your passengers and the back seats, and you have rear vents. Whereas whenever you hop back over to the base trim, you'll notice no rear vents, no rear charging, and up front, you're limited to only one regular USB charging port. So if you have your passengers with you who also want to charge their phones and their devices, you're going to be out of luck because you're only going to have that one USB. And you might be thinking, well, Alex, I don't need the USB charger here. I'll just use the 12-volt power inside the center console. Well, there's no 12-volt power right here. Instead, you have 12-volt power up inside the glove box. So yes, that is possible, but it's not as easily accessible. Another commonly requested feature on our Subarus is going to be the heated seats. All but the base trim comes standard with heated seats, and so that's why on the Outback, a lot of people don't want the base. This next one actually is probably about 50-50 that I get. Some people want a power moonroof and some people don't, and is actually probably a reason why somebody may stick with the lower trim level. If they're adamant about not getting a moonroof, well, the base trim doesn't even have the option to come with it. And instead, you have to move up to the premium and get the optional package, the package 15, to even have the power moonroof. So depending on who you are, that could actually be a point for this lower base trim. And for those curious, here is the window sticker on this specific base trim. So you'll see at the top $29,995 for the starting MSRP. That is before destination and delivery and before the accessories. So you'll see here, we've got our accessories that are optioned on this particular one from Subaru, and then destination and delivery, $1,420. So $32,110 is the MSRP for this particular base trim build. Now, if you compare that to this premium trim, Subaru Outback, so this is the premium trim, so it's got a higher starting MSRP, but it has the optional package 15, which is a $1,400 package. That's what adds the blind spot detection, the keyless entry with push button start, and the hands-free power rear gate, which 9 times out of 10, that is almost always a request from most of my customers. And then of course you have the individual accessory items here, kind of hard to see because this window's tinted. And at the bottom, same destination delivery, but $37,170 for the selling price on this one. Now these are the full window sticker MSRP Most people know by now, but on the 2025 Subaru models that are on the ground, most dealerships, including ours, we're discounting them well below the MSRP. It's inventory we can move right now today. You're gonna see that matched with whatever Subaru is offering on their finance offers. My whole point with showing you the difference in price here is so you can see that the base trim, yes, it is significantly less on price point compared to the premium with these specific options. However, despite all that, the base trim is still much less popular than the trim level just above it. Now, in fairness, if you are somebody that is just purely looking for a Subaru Outback in the lowest possible price, then the base trim might make sense for you. I do have customers that just want the bare bones. They don't need any extra things, and that's okay. That's why they've had the base trim. But unfortunately, as we just found out, for the 2026 model year, the Outback will no longer have a base trim, and instead, the new base trim is really going to be the premium trim. And the good news there is that the premium trim is going to come standard with a lot of the features that I was just talking about. So no longer do you need to bump up in trim level to get things like your keyless entry with push button start, your wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the power rear gate, the blind spot detection, the list goes on and on. And when you start to outline the differences between the base trim and the premium trim, it really starts to make sense, I think, for most people why the base trim has never been a popular seller. Now, I know not everybody will agree with me, and I'm just speaking on the things that I've experienced. Yes, partially my opinion, but also opinions of many of the hundreds of customers that I have talked to over the many years that I've sold the Subaru Outback. I really hope you all found some value in this video to help you compare between the base trim and the premium trim level Subaru Outback. As always, if you have any questions, leave those down in the comment section below. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.